Thank you. Good morning, and thank you. We got 2 more minutes. Good morning. Can you hear me okay? Thank you for joining. I'm going to begin reading in about a minute. Can y'all hear me? Hello. Thank you for joining. Be sure to engage with one another. Hello. Welcome. Can y'all hear me? Good morning. Happy Monday. Can y'all hear me okay? It's a new headset I'm using. That's why I'm asking. Well, I hope everybody can hear me okay. Because on Friday, my mic was off and I was reading without having it recorded. So that was a blooper and a half. Um, so it's 7 o'clock, and I've been reading The Child I Left Behind by Anjalia McGoldrick. It's a memoir of her life, and it's somebody that I know. Um, and Anjalia is also, she's a licensed counselor, a hypnotherapist, a metaphysician, and an entrepreneur and author. Um, so I resonate with a lot she has to say in this book. Um, and we've been reading it every morning since last week, and we're going to continue reading it this week until we're done with the entire book. And then we're going to begin with another book. So, welcome to my book club. I'll be reading the things that I enjoy reading to you. And we are on chapter 13. If you haven't been following along, and be sure to know that this has strong language and violence as well. So, just a little warning before I begin. Chapter 13. Right after we met, Charlie returned 16. Charlie turned 16, quit school, and tried to find a job, but he couldn't find anyone who would hire him. With no education, skills, or work experience, 2 years later, when his older brother, Randy, heard we were moving in together, he offered Charlie a job pumping gas at the station where he worked, making minimum wage, which was $3.35 an hour in 1983. We found a nice apartment a mile from where I was living with mom for $265 per month. The first 6 months, even though we didn't have much, it was like a honeymoon. I was so happy to be with Charlie. It was all I ever wanted from the day I first laid eyes on him. While Charlie worked, I'd stay home with Leah. There rarely was enough money to make ends meet, but we did our best. As time went on, things continued to be difficult financially. The struggles with money began to create a strain, and we started fighting more. Charlie was hard on me. He ridiculed me at every turn. He loved to argue and debate, and I hated conflict with Charlie and often shrank in fear and did what I could to avoid it. I was always under a microscope with him, questioning everything I did. He also was very jealous and controlling. One evening, we were in the grocery store. I went to reach for a package of pork chops at the same time another man went to reach for it, and we both laughed. Charlie looked over and began yelling, "You whore! You want to fuck this guy, don't you?" He looked at the innocent stranger. "You want to fuck her, don't you?" Hey, dude, I don't know what your problem is. We just reached for the same package of meat at the same time. Chill out. Charlie, stop it. Let's go, I demanded. I pushed a cart of full groceries aside, grabbed Leah, and pulled Charlie by the arm out the store. All the while, he was screaming at this man who stood stunned with the other customers watching us leave. "What in the hell is wrong with you?" I shouted as we walked outside. He shoved me and pushed me into the car, then squealed the tires as we pulled out the parking lot, racing up to the car in front of us so quickly. I thought he was going to hit him. "Charlie, slow down. You're going to kill us," I shouted. He kept on driving erratically, scaring the shit out of me as I continued to scream. "Please, just stop and let me and Leah out of this car right now. We will walk home." Ignoring me, he continues to drive recklessly. My heart was racing. "I don't understand why you have to act like that. I could see the way you looked at that guy. You wanted to fuck him, didn't you?" I just shook my head. I didn't have anything to say. I knew if I kept quiet and let him yell, he would eventually stop. I held Leia on my lap and pulled her close to my chest and tried to shield her from his angry words and his craziness. She was crying, and I rubbed her back and rocked her, trying to comfort her. As we pulled in the front of the house, he reached for a cigarette from his pack up in his shirt and lit it. I jumped out the car and ran into the house. I got Leah settled into her crib and then laid down in the bed and cried. I didn't have anywhere to go. I was completely dependent on Charlie. I didn't have any money. I wished he could just be normal, I cried. After a while, Charlie came in and jumped in the bed and hugged me. "I'm so sorry, Angel. You know I love you. I didn't mean to get so mad, but I can't think of you being with anyone else." He hugged me and he started poking at me, throwing pillows, tickling me, and playing like a little kid until he got me to smile and relent to his charm, pushing the crazy and chaos he created out of my mind for the moment. He kissed me, and for a week or so, things would be better. We moved 3 times in the first year until we found an affordable place to live. Charlie's brother heard of a place near his work that included all the utilities and was only 185 per month. It was a nicer place and in a better neighborhood in Dearborn, just on the border of Detroit. One afternoon, Charlie's dad brought over some dinner, and we sat on the couch and ate while visiting with him. Charlie had been sick and was lying stretched out on the couch, propped up with some pillows. I was the first at his feet at the other end. "Angel, can you get me a napkin?" he asked, just as I had taken a bite of my food. He pulled up both legs and plowed both feet on into my side, knocking me and my food on the floor. "What the hell, Charlie?" I cried. "Did you hear me? Get me a fucking napkin." "I was going to as soon as I swallowed my food," I cried as I ran into the kitchen to get him a napkin. "Well, you didn't respond." He started screaming and yelling at me and threw his plate at me as I returned to the living room. I moved just in time to miss the plate as it flew past me and hit the wall and broke all over the place. His dad, Chuck, got up. I'm not going to stand by and watch this, Charlie. This is ridiculous. Why are you acting like this, son? This is none of your business, Dad, he shouted. Chuck shook his head, looked at me, shook his head again, and walked out the door. Charlie continued to yell, then went on into the kitchen and busted up several dishes. Please, Charlie, don't. Please calm down. I didn't hear you. I was happy to get you a napkin. He continued through the house, finding things that he knew I cared about and smashed them. My oldest brother, David, who was a country boy and an outdoors man, took a special class and handmade a beautiful cloth doll just for Leah. Her hair was blonde, made from yellow yarn, and her eyes were stitched in blue. The doll looked just like her. I loved this doll, and it meant a lot to me because he had made it for her, and Charlie knew it. It was sitting on the mantel near the front door. He saw it and walked over and took his lit cigarette and put it out between the doll's eyes, burning a hole through its forehead. I screamed, "You asshole! What kind of fucked up are you? That doll belonged to Leah." I looked down as she was crying. I picked her up, hugged her, wiped the ashes from the doll's forehead, handed it to Leah, took her out of the room, and put her in her crib. I went back into the living room and begged him to stop. The more I begged, the worse it got. Hours went by before he grew tired of tormenting me. I was completely spent. The child I left behind. Based on true events. Loneliness and isolation had become my life. I didn't have any friends. I didn't have any money. I was too young to drive. I was completely dependent on Charlie. I rarely saw Mom. She was also in her own world, and I wasn't a part of it. By the summer of 1984, only a year after we moved in together, Charlie lost his job with his brother because of his hot head and cocky attitude. Please, Charlie, go ask Randy for your job bag. Fuck that. There's no way I would ask that fucker for my job back. There ain't no way I'm crawling back to him. Charlie, we can't pay our bills without that job. What are we going to do? Don't worry about it. I will figure something out. Another week went by without a job, and finally, out of desperation, I called Mom to ask if she can help Charlie get a job at a restaurant where she was waitressing, where she lived in the area. Within a week, he had a job. He worked the evening shift and didn't get off till 1 a.m., but seemed happy with the new job. A month later, the phone rang, and in the middle of the night, I was startled and jumped up to see who was calling. Charlie was on the phone and appeared to be nervous when he saw me. I will. Yes, I will. I promise. I hear you. I will take care of it. I promise. Okay, okay. I will. Bye. He hung up the phone and looked up at me. The energy in the room shifted, and I could tell something was wrong. My heart began to sink. What's going on, Charlie? Who was that? Let's talk about it tomorrow. It's late. He looked over at the clock on the mantel. What do you mean tomorrow? What's going on? What's wrong? It's 2 o'clock in the morning. Who's calling here at this time? I asked with panic in my voice as my heart began to race. Angel, I don't want to talk about it tonight. We can talk about it tomorrow. Who was on the phone, Charlie? I demanded. It was your sister, Jenny. My sister? Why is she calling you? I don't know, but we can talk about it tomorrow, he insisted. Charlie, you're making this worse. What's going on? He got up and lit a cigarette and left the room. I picked up the phone and called my sister back. Jenny, what's going on? Didn't Charlie tell you? No. Tell me what? Please tell me what's going on. You need to ask Charlie. Charlie returned and grabbed the phone out of my hand. Who is that? Is it my sister? It's my sister, I yelled. What the hell is going on? You better tell Charlie, Jenny was talking when Charlie grabbed the phone from my hand and hung it up. Why won't you tell me what's going on, Charlie? I began to cry. Charlie took a deep breath, looked at me, then immediately looked down. There's a girl at work. Her name is Elaine, and we have been talking. I felt like the world was shattering around me. Time seemed to immediately stop. What did you say? I couldn't comprehend what he was saying to me. Every ounce of blood in my body seemed to drain out of me. What do you mean, talking? Are you cheating on me? I screamed. How could you do this to me? How could you do this to our daughter? No, I'm not cheating on you. We are just talking. Just talking, Charlie. I don't understand. He tried to come toward me and I pushed him away. I expected him to hit me back, but he just wrapped his arms around me and pulled me into his chest to confine me. A million questions flooded my mind. Are you sleeping with her? No. Then what's going on? Are you going to keep talking to her? I don't know. I don't know what I want. He pulled away from me. What do you mean you don't know what you want? What is going on? What is going to happen to me and Leah? Don't you care about anything? I got a job for you. How could you do this to me? He turned away and sank into the couch with his head in his hands. I expected him to yell, but nothing. Saying nothing was worse. My mind raced. I never dreamed he'd do this to me. We were supposed to be together forever. I felt like I was going to die from the pain in my heart. My mind was swimming in disbelief, and my body was in shock. I sobbed and he tried to pull me in toward him to calm me and comfort me with a hug. No, don't come near me, I shouted. I don't want you fucking touching me. I went and lay down in my bed alone and cried until the sun came up. I got up just after 8 a.m. I got Leah up, got her dressed, and put her in her stroller. I needed to get out of the house, away from him, and try to get my head together. I didn't have anyone, but I knew Charlie's dad, Chuck, cared and had compassion for me. He always got up at 5 a.m. I walked 6 blocks to his house, pushing Leah in the stroller. Angel, what are you and the baby doing here so early? Chuck, I had to get out of the house. I found out last night that Charlie's talking to a new girl. I began to cry. She's a hostess at the restaurant, and they began seeing each other for a couple of weeks now. I don't know what I'm going to do. He came over and hugged me and tried to comfort me. That damn boy, I don't know what to do with him. He shook his head. I'm sorry to hear this. Maybe you two can work it out. I don't know. I have no idea what's going on, and I'm so mad and so hurt, I cried. Leah looked up at me. Mommy's crying? I'm sorry, sweetheart. Mommy is feeling sad today. Come into Papa Chuck's living room and get you some toys. We played on the floor and I talked to Chuck, and talking helped. And it felt good to have someone who'd listen. I stayed all morning and tried pulling myself together enough to walk back home. I was exhausted, confused, heartbroken, and clueless about what was going to do where I was going to go, and clueless about what I was going to do or where I was going to go. I couldn't go to mom's. I wasn't where I wanted to be. I had no money, no job, no car, and no driver's license. I had nothing and nowhere to go. All I had was Leah. I looked down on her, sweet faced, and walked around in front of the stroller and hugged her. Not only was my world devastated, although she didn't know it, so was hers. I just held her and cried. What am I going to do? I turned to the corner and headed back home. Charlie had no idea where we were. I had no idea he would respond when I came in. and a part of me didn't care. When I came in the door, Charlie was angry and asked where I had been. He tried to start an argument, but soon shifted and began telling me how worried he was, how much he loved me, and that he wanted to work things out. After hours of talking and him professing his love for me, I felt hope that things would change and maybe this was just a wake up call that we both needed to shift things in our relationship. That concludes chapter 13. We're going to begin chapter 14. Hello, thank you for joining. Chapter 14. Over the next month, every day was a roller coaster ride of emotions. Charlie would profess how much he loved me and how he wanted to work things out, but night after night, he wouldn't come home on time, and things continued to deteriorate. We fought, made love, and fought even more. He lied and played games, but nothing ever changed. One morning, after another fight, he said he was going to the park to meet Elaine to break things off. After about 45 minutes, Charlie didn't return. I was so tired of fighting and uncertainty. The park was only a couple of blocks away. Come on, baby, let's go for a walk. Leah smiled as I put her in the stroller and began our walk toward the park. The sun beat gently on our faces as a cool breeze ran through the busy morning streets. As I entered the park, I could see Charlie with this girl, straddling a park bench facing each other. She was running her fingers through his hair and caressing his face. Parked next to his old white Maverick was a red Corvette, Charlie's dream car. I studied Elaine as I waited in the distance. Her hair was blonde and flowed in waves and hung on two shoulders. Her skin was porcelain white and her eyes were bright as her smile. She wore designer pants and leather brand name shoes. It was apparent she came from money. I looked down at my old worn out shoes and saw pink footies peeking out through the holes. My t shirt was wrinkled and tattered, and my shorts were old and ragged. I instantly felt the sting of poverty as the feelings of being less than. A bitter reminder from the days when every 6 months I was always a new girl at school and was bullied because I couldn't afford the nicer things the other kids would wear. My heart sank at the sight of them, and tears welled up in my eyes. Charlie was running his fingers down Elaine's face so intimately and sweetly. She smiled with innocence and blushed at him. I remember back when we first met, and he used to be so tender and gentle like that with me. Long before Leah and the responsibilities of life set in, Elaine must have been a breath of fresh air for him, a new adventure or challenge that intrigued him, and I am too old, too tired, and no fun. I had no idea if this was true, but in the moment I lingered there. I could see and feel it. It was difficult to watch, but I stood there for several minutes to take it all in. My hands were sweating and my jaw was tight. I needed to witness this with my own eyes and drink in the pain so I could muster up the strength and courage to leave. I had to watch to confirm what my soul had already known for some time, but my heart did not want to believe. When he leaned in to kiss her and pulled her into his chest, time seemed to stand still as my heart shattered. He has lied and lied and lied to me. He keeps hurting me, and I keep staying. How could I be so stupid? She doesn't even know what she's getting into. He seems so loving and sweet, but she hasn't learned yet how his love brings pain and stings quite deep. My mind raced and adrenaline rose in me. I wanted to fight and yell at him and cuss her out and call her a homewrecker. But I was so exhausted from the weeks of the craziness. I wiped the tears from my eyes and gathered up as much strength as I could. I took a deep breath in and walked quietly with the baby in the stroller up to the bench where they were sitting. I wanted Elaine to see me and the baby and the lives she was destroying. Hey, Charlie. He jumped when he heard my voice. What the hell are you doing here? He reacted in surprise. I guess I could ask you the same question. I can see you aren't here breaking things off with her like you said you would, I said sarcastically as I glanced over at Elaine. She immediately looked away. I'm going to start getting some boxes so I can move out. I can see clearly this is all just a game. I looked at Charlie as tears began to run down my face. I waited long enough for him to see the hurt in my eyes, and then I walked away. He didn't say a word. I knew at that moment I had to leave. Nothing was going to change. I was a fool, and and this was tearing me apart. What I didn't realize then was Elaine coming into Charlie's life was the greatest gift that could have ever happened to me. By helping me leave this toxic, unhealthy relationship. The weeks that followed were difficult. Charlie and I fought every day. He didn't want me to leave. At least that's what he said. Angel, you know I love you, and I can't live without you and Leia here. Besides, who is going to have you anyway? You have a lot of baggage. As he looked down at Leia. His words cut deep. I had done everything for him, giving him everything I had, and he treated me like a piece of white trash. I have felt like trash, and I wondered if he was right. A few hours later, to add more salt to my pain, Elaine pulled up in her dad's red Corvette to pick Charlie up, and off he went without a word. He was spending money on her we didn't have, spending time with her instead of us, and it hurt to watch. He wanted to date Elaine, and he wanted me to stay and put up with it. And for now, it was what I had to do. I began looking for a job. I had to have money to get out and to get my driver's permit. I didn't know where I was going to go, but I knew if I had money, I could figure it out. I finally called mom and told her what was going on. I tried to tell you, Angel, this wasn't going to work, but you didn't listen. What are you going to do? I don't know, Mom. I have to put in some applications everywhere, but no one has called me. I'm sure it was because I'm 15. Well, let me talk to my old boss at the restaurant in Allen Park, where I used to work. He called me last week and asked if I could come in and to work for him again. But I told him I was working at a restaurant near the airport. I might be able to get you in there, but you would have to tell him you are 18 years old. Okay, whatever I must do. I can't stay here much longer. The next day, I asked Chuck if he would drive me to fill up my application. Her old boss hired me on the spot. You can start next Monday on the evening shift training as a waitress. Thank you, sir. I appreciate the opportunity. My Aunt Sissy lived nearby. She stayed up late at night and told me she could watch Leah for me. She needed to earn a little bit of money and it would help her too. She would only charge me $16 per week. It was nearly 9 miles one way to work. I didn't have a car or anyone who was willing to drive me there every day. But I had a job, and it was the only thing I had at age 15. I wanted out of this situation so bad. I was willing to walk to work. Walking those long miles when working a long 8-hour shift and sometimes having to walk the 9 miles home if I didn't get a ride. Change rattling as I took each step through the dark, busy city streets from Allen Park to Dearborn were some of the most educational moments in my life. I made up my mind with each step that my life wasn't going to be this way forever. It was humiliating to ask people at work for a ride or call my mom or sister and be told no. They couldn't help me. I was determined. I wasn't going to be stuck depending on anyone else or having to ask others for help, then feeling rejected when they said no. I wasn't going to be beaten up, mistreated, or cheated on ever again. Seeing my mom go through this with Percy and ending up in a worse situation, I knew I wanted more for my life than this. I thought about all the humiliation and rejection I felt, being poor and treated like white trash most of my life. I thought about all the hell I had been through in this relationship and having hardly anyone to turn to. I thought about the struggles I had been through after my parents' divorce when I was 9. I knew for sure this was not the life I wanted to live. I didn't know how I was going to get out, how long it was going to take, or how things were going to change. But I knew in my soul that there were. I was determined to do better. I knew from my own experience and from watching my mom, who only had an eighth grade education, who had been beaten down by the man she left my dad for and started her own life as a teen mom too, that this was a hard life. And the only way out is to get an education. And when I got on my feet, I'm going to figure out what I must do and do it. Nearly 4 weeks had gone by since I saw Charlie and Elaine at the park together. So much time has passed. I think Charlie believed I wasn't leaving. I didn't talk about it because I didn't have anywhere to go, and I knew it would only start an argument. I just worked and saved my money. I figured when I got enough saved, I would find a place and move. It was difficult being there with Charlie. He was unpredictable and moody. The most independent I became, the more jealous he was. One night he was home when a guy from work dropped me off out of courtesy so I didn't have to walk. Who the fuck is that guy? Why are you fucking him? You're fucking him, aren't you? Charlie shouted at me as I walked in the door. He grabbed the door out of my hand and slammed it behind me. Charlie, don't start. He's just a cook at work who was kind enough to give me a ride. I am tired, so please leave me alone. He started shoving me around and yelling at me. You're a fucking whore. Stop, Charlie. Please don't do this tonight. I'm exhausted. Tell me who that guy is. I'm going to beat his ass. Tell me, Angel. I mean it. No, he is nobody. He was just nice enough to give me a ride home. He pushed me against the wall and punched the wall near my head, and I screamed. What the hell, Charlie? You are seeing someone else, and you don't see me acting like this. I don't want to do this tonight, I shouted. Now look what you did, Angel. You made me bust my hand up. I got away and went into the bedroom to take a break from his rage. I could hear him pacing outside the door, waiting for me. Leah was sleeping, and she woke crying from the noise of us arguing. I came out of the bathroom and headed for her room to comfort her. I came out the bathroom and headed for her room to comfort her. He followed me, continued to yell, "It's okay, baby. Shh, go back to sleep." I patted her back and put my other hand up and waved Charlie to leave the room to keep from waking Leia. I stayed with her for a few minutes until she fell back asleep. I took a few breaths and tried to calm myself. He was waiting for me outside the door. When I came from the bedroom, "Come here." Charlie looked at me with, "Look at your hand." "Come here, Charlie, let me look at your hand. I will get some ice. Go sit down in the living room." I went to the refrigerator and pulled up the ice tray and from the freezer and got a towel from the drawer and filled it with ice. I pulled another rag from the drawer and ran it under warm water. I was so tired of fighting him. "Let me see your hand, Charlie." I sat down on the couch next to him, took the warm rag, washed off the blood, and put the towel full of ice on his knuckles. "There, that should make it better." I took a deep breath as he took comfort in my nurturing. He pulled me close and hugged me, the way he usually did after his violent outbursts. I took his hug in as a sign of relief the chaos had ended, at least for tonight. He kissed me on the forehead and rubbed my cheek into his. "I'm going to bed, Charlie. I'm exhausted." As I walked away, I knew he wasn't ever going to let me leave in peace. I called my mom. "Mom, Charlie just left for work. We had a big fight last night, and I'm afraid he's really going to hurt me. Even a neighbor said something to me this morning about all the noise, and he said he could hear me screaming and was worried about me. She told me she almost called the police. I need to get out of here soon." I told Ben, "I know Ben doesn't want me there, and I know we don't get along, but is there a way you can talk to him and see if he would let me come and stay with you just long enough for me to get enough money together to get my own place? I have been working hard, but I don't make a lot, and I haven't been able to save much. Things here with Charlie are bad. He almost punched me in the face last night because I got a ride home from a guy at work. I need to get out of here before he really hurts me. Please, Mom, ask Ben if I can stay with you." "Angel, I don't know. You know I tried to tell you, but you were just too hard-headed and wouldn't listen to me. And now look at where you're at." "I know, Mom. You were right. I am really sorry. I hate to ask. I have been trying to save and get out of here, but I just haven't been able to make enough money." "Well, I don't know. I will have to see. You know, if you would have listened to me, you wouldn't be in this shape." "I know, Mom. Well, if you come back here, you know you would have to go back to school, right?" "Right. School." I sighed. "That's right, Angel. You need to go back to school. And we ain't going to be putting up with all this bull crap with Charlie coming around here starting no trouble." "Okay, Mom, I hear you. Can you ask Ben? But don't call here. I will call you when Charlie isn't home. I will have to move out when he is at work. He isn't going to let me leave without a fight." "Okay, now you heard what I said, right?" "Yes, Mom, I heard you. Please ask him. I will talk to Ben tonight and I will let you know." I hung up the phone. School? How is that going to work in my life? I barely have time to do everything I'm doing with work and taking care of Leah, but I have to figure it out. I have to get out of here. I can't take this anymore, I mumbled to myself. Later that week, I called Mom to check in. "Angel, I talked to Ben and he ain't happy about you coming back here, but he agreed to let you come. As long as you understand, you have to follow the rules and go back to school. Do you understand me?" "Oh, yes, good. Yes, Mom. Thank you so much. I promise I will. I had enough money saved to rent a small moving trailer. Rob, the cook from work, agreed to help me move, even though I told him how unstable Charlie could be. I am only taking my bedroom furniture and Leah's crib and our personal belongings. Everything else Charlie can have. I told Mom and Rob as they began carrying things out of the trailer. I was as a nervous wreck as I threw things as quickly as possible into boxes, worrying Charlie would be home soon or be home early from work and find Rob there helping me move out. We packed and carried things out as fast as we could. The last item I took were the stereo Charlie had bought me the summer before, which has sat on the mantle. It was the only thing he had ever bought me in the entire time we were together. And it was something, as a young girl being poor, I always wanted. The stereo had a clock with a blue light that could easily be seen when you walked in a dark room from the front door. I took one last look around as I took the stereo down from the mantel and closed the door. Sadness and fear filled my heart as I walked away. I knew Charlie wasn't going to be happy when he walked in the door, but it was long past time for me to leave. Sure enough, at 2:30 in the morning, the phone at Mom's house rang. Charlie called multiple times that night, wanting to talk to me, but Mom made it clear to Charlie she didn't want him calling here, especially at this time of night. He stopped calling. I crawled back into bed and managed to sleep more soundly than I ever did in a very long time. That concludes chapter 14. Take a minute. Take a minute. Break. Make a note. Going to begin chapter 15 shortly. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome in. I am reading out loud The Child I Left Behind for everyone. We are halfway through the book, and I'm so happy about that. Welcome to my book club. We are on chapter 15, halfway through. So excited. The Child I Left Behind by Anjalia McGoldrick. It just came out this year. Extraordinary book if you're looking for some inspiration. Okay. Chapter 15. It was difficult being at Mom's. I had been on my own, in my own home, making most of my own decisions and taking care of myself and my child for nearly 2 years. Leah was about to turn 2 years old. It was hard moving back in with my siblings, Mom and Ben, who didn't like me. From the very beginning, Ben was cold and rough toward me. He picked at me and made comments or complained about my parenting and just about everything I did. I tried my best to ignore it and stay clear from him as much as possible. When I moved in, they gave me my little brother's Jake's room, and he had to sleep on the couch. I felt like I was in the way. I wasn't very comfortable, but I was happy to have a place to stay. I did as Mom asked and went and enrolled at the local high school. I was now 2 years behind my graduating class, nearly 16 years old, starting the ninth grade. I had been an adult for the past 2 years, and the other students were still kids, passing notes and worried about Friday night football game. when I was working full time, taking care of a baby, trying to save money for my own place and car. Within a week, I knew it wasn't going to work. I went to the principal's office and talked to my guidance counselor and told her about my situation. Oh my, I didn't know you had a baby. Yes, I can see how that would make things difficult with trying to find a sitter, making it to class, and working on top of all of that. Well, there's a teen parent program nearby to help kids in your situation go to school. There is a bus. It can pick you up and take you there each morning. They have a daycare, and you can bring your daughter to school with you. Would you like for me to get you enrolled over there? Absolutely. It sounds perfect for me. I started school there the next week, even though I didn't want to go back to school. This was better than the local high school where I didn't fit in. Leah snuggled into my chest as we rode the bus to school each morning. She loved her teacher, Miss Vicky, who took good care of her while I was in class. She also enjoyed learning and having other kids her own age to play with. There were about 40 students at my school, mostly all girls, but there were a couple of boys who attended. It was very informal and accommodating for the students. They offered the students smoking lounge, and we called our teachers by their first names. The principal, Diane, was an angel. She showed so much love and respect to all her students, and it was like a mother hen who looked after us. There was a lady I waitress with who lived near mom's and offered to drive me to work if I helped out with gas money. I appreciated her help. Within weeks of moving to mom's, I got my learner's permit. I needed to start practicing driving, but no one would help me. Angel, now you're too nervous to be driving. I don't think you need to be getting your driver's permit just yet. Mom, I have to get my driver's license and a car. I can't depend on other people to get me to work. Well, if it makes me too nervous to drive you, maybe your sister will let you drive with her. Reluctantly, Jenny let me practice a couple of times, but she was gone a lot with work and preparing to go to the U.S. Army Reserves. Angel, I'm going to be leaving after your birthday in November for boot camp. If you want to buy my car, I will sell it to you for $100. Really, Jenny? Well, it's not worth much more than that, and I'm not going to need it. I plan on buying a better car when I get back home. Oh my God, it is perfect. I definitely want to buy it. I will get the money to you here in a few weeks. I was so appreciative. Excitement rushed all over me. Things were working out for me. This is so perfect. As someone who had already faced so much restriction and poverty, I saw owning a car as a key to my freedom and success. Having a car meant so much to me because not having one caused so much pain in my life. And I was determined to never be without one ever again. The car was a 1971 Chevy Chevelle. It was light blue and had rust on the fenders. The front right bumper was tied with some wire and coat hanger. The front seat was broken and wouldn't slide up any closer to the gas and brake pedals. So I had to buy a chair cushion to place in the driver's seat so I can reach the pedals. But it ran. Because I rarely had any patient practice, I didn't put in the required hours for driver's training. But enough time had passed and I was eligible to take my driver's test. Mom wouldn't let me use her car, and Jenny wasn't available. So I asked Charlie's dad, Chuck, if he would let me borrow his car for the driver's test at the Secretary of State, and he agreed. I was a nervous wreck. I was messed up a few times during the test, and it was evident I wasn't ready to drive. But I think the lady testing me was so scared she passed me so she didn't have to get in a car with me again. Ma'am, your daughter needs a lot of practice, but I'm going to go ahead and pass her, as she told my mother. And with that, I stood in line in front of the camera and got my picture taken for my official driver's license. Freedom at last. Charlie called me at mom's house and left a lot when I first left, begging me to come back. I was short with him and dismissive. I wasn't going back to that hell. I was getting on my feet, and after a while, he stopped calling. I imagine he was preoccupied with Elaine, and I was happy without him and all his craziness he brought in my life. Dottie and her husband Mitch loved Leah and kept her for me often when I worked. I also took her down to stay the weekend from time to time. Charlie moved back in with his mom, and he saw Leah when she was there. One Sunday, when I came up to pick Leah up from Dottie's, Charlie came out. Many months had gone by, and I had changed a lot since leaving him. I was in school, I had a job and making money. I bought new clothes and nice shoes. I wore makeup, something he didn't like me to do when I was with him. I was talking with a guy. Whoa, hello? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello? H V um play the audio and just one moment. I got stuck here. Hi. That was interesting. Hi everybody. Please engage with each other. Please do all the other tappings that you normally would do on a live. I am here sitting and reading this book to everyone as my offering out to the universe, and it just stopped me for um, like a pause or something like that. So, and this is I'm fairly new to lives, um, so thank you for your patience. If you have any questions, I think you can send me a DM and I will get to it after I'm done with the live, if that's okay. Okay, I'm gonna go back to reading. We're gonna conclude this at chapter 15, I believe. See how things go. Thank you for whoever's in here still. We're still on chapter 15. Okay. Hey, Angel, what are you up to? Not much, Charlie. Just working and going to school. Oh, yeah? You look very nice. It stunned me. He was so nice and sweet. Who was this guy? Thank you, Charlie, I said with surprise. Hey, I heard you were seeing someone. Is that true? My heart sank. I wasn't sure if he was going to start an argument. Where did you hear that? You know, I got friends around. I replied. I didn't want any trouble, and I wasn't sure where this was going. We should have dinner sometime and talk. I don't think so, Charlie. What do you want to talk about? I just like to catch up, Angel, he said softly as he smiled, and my heart melted. He was such a charmer, so childlike in ways and adorable to look at. I knew he was a snake, but he had a way to mesmerize me. I will think about it, Charlie. Come on, Angel. I want to talk to you. I miss you. I made a mistake. We need to talk and think about Leah. We need to work on things. Where's this all coming from, Charlie? I miss you so much. Please think about it. I will. I took Leah from Charlie's arms. Goodbye, Daddy. Goodbye, darling. Daddy loves you. He kissed Leah's cheek and brushed up against me as he pulled away. He looked at me and smiled, knowing I felt his touch. Angel, please, let's talk soon. I shook off his charm and put Leah in the car and drove away. I smiled inside at the thought that he was missing me. Then I shuddered at the thought. Get your head together, girl. This guy ain't no good for you. But maybe he has changed like I have. I pondered. That Christmas, Charlie was sweet and poured out his best charm. The phone rang. Hey, Angel, what does Leah need for Christmas? And is there anything you need? No, Charlie, I'm fine. Leah could use some new clothes, and she likes dolls, books, puzzles, and any learning toys. Okay, I'll see what I could do. When are you going to let me take you out to dinner? I nervously snickered. I don't know, Charlie. I'm not sure that's a good idea, I replied in a firm tone. Oh, come on. It's just dinner. I miss you, and I just want to see you, he pleaded. I didn't respond. Okay, maybe just a Coke or a Pepsi. That's what you like, he corrected himself. I mean, I will think about it, Charlie. We have Christmas at Mom's on Christmas Eve. If you want to pick up Leah on Christmas Day, that would work fine. You can keep her overnight, and I will come get her the day of after Christmas. What about her birthday? She turns 2 on New Year's Day. Yeah, I know. I have to work that day. I plan to have a cake with her with my family on Saturday before her birthday. I work on New Year's Eve too. If you want to pick her up then, you can. You can keep her overnight and you have her on her birthday. That works great. Thanks, Angel. And let me know about getting together. I miss you. I will let you know, Charlie. Over the next month, Charlie kept pressuring me and begging me to have dinner or take some time to talk with him. It seemed to be bothering him to think I was with someone else and my life was going well without him. I had always been a doormat and given in to him, and he didn't know how to take this new behavior from me. I held my ground and was firm, and he didn't seem didn't know what to do. Angel, please meet with me. I love and miss you so much. I made a huge mistake and I'm willing to do anything to work on things. I promise things will be different. I have grown up since you left. Please come talk to me. A part of me knew that this was not a good idea, but my heart yearned for things to be better. Things must not be going so well for him, I imagined. I loved him and I missed him, and I wondered if things could work out. What if he told What if both of us just needed some time away from each other to grow up some? I wanted so badly for Leah to have a family and for her parents to be together, but it had to be a healthy environment. Not like this, not like how it was before. I could never go back to that craziness. I wasn't happy at Mom's and I didn't like the rules, and Ben was constantly giving me hell at every turn. A part of me felt like I had to walk and talk to Charlie. I'd regret it for the rest of my life, so I finally gave in. Okay, Charlie, I will meet with you. We decided to meet at the park and talk. I didn't want anyone else to see us together. I opened the door to his car and slid into the passenger seat. Oh my God, you look amazing. Thank you, Charlie. Thank you for coming and talking to me. I have missed you so much. I'm sorry for everything that happened in the past. I promise if you come back, things will be different. I don't know, Charlie. Things were bad. You were mean to me, and your temper was awful. And what about Elaine? I have changed. I promise to make things better. I promise things will be better. I don't care about her. I only love you. I couldn't see it before you left, but I know now I can't live without you. Are you still with her? Not really. We still talk, but all I can think about is you. I left my job at the restaurant. I don't, and I don't work with her anymore. I got a job working at a self serve car wash, and I'm making more money now. Things will be better. I don't know, Charlie. I hesitated. Please give me another chance. I promise you won't regret it. If if I even considered coming back, you'd have to promise you will never ever hit me again. Never. Ever. Oh, I promise. I will never hit you again. You didn't deserve it. And I was wrong for getting so angry. Where will we live, Charlie? I have to ask my mom already. I have to talk I have talked to my mom already, and she said you can come live with us. With the money I am making and with what you're making, we could get a place of our own pretty quick. At your mom's, Charlie? She doesn't like me. Angel, I'm her baby, and she just overprotective. You know that. Yes, I know. But she doesn't like me, and she makes me feel like a terrible mother. I will talk to her and I will tell her to take it easy on you. Please, please come back. I will do anything to get you back. Oh my God, Charlie, I just don't know. It all sounds so good, but I just don't know. My mom would kill me. Well, you don't have to tell her. I could come and move out while she's at work. I don't know, Charlie. He pulled me in and kissed me so passionately, it melted my heart. I love you so much. I pulled, the pull I felt around him was so strong, it took my breath away. It was like an obsession that mesmerized me. Was this really love? At the time, it was only the love I ever really knew. I felt confused, excited, scared, and uncertain. What am I doing? Can this really work this time? Or am I crazy for even considering it? It was like Charlie had a spell on me. I was 16 years old, and he was my first and only. I couldn't imagine ever loving anyone this much ever. Things with John were not great. He didn't care about me, and I was just another girl to him. And he wasn't Charlie. Charlie felt comfortable, like an old pair of shoes. I drove away with him a thousand I drove away with a thousand thoughts and emotions swimming through my heart and mind. That concludes chapter 15. I'm going to stop there. That concludes chapter 15. We're going to start 16 when we begin again.